Good morning, everybody, or wherever you are in the world. Just going to take that off. There we go. Good morning. I think we're definitely live. So I titled this video, What Happens When We Pass Over. I'm sorry that I didn't do a video last week. Actually, Monday last week on the 17th, my dad actually passed over. So my dad was 78 years old. I'm pretty well and fit. And sadly, he suffered a sudden stroke. And after a CT scan, they found lots of blood clots in his body. So, we've been hearing that a lot recently. There are a lot of people passing over with strokes, sudden strokes and blood clots. And this isn't a video for me to talk about perhaps the reasons for that. But I wanted to bring awareness. Let me have some ginger tea. Sorry. I wanted to bring awareness because many of you know I've been a medium and a channel for, 28, nearly 30 years now, for a very long time anyway. And I teach mediumship alongside working as a trauma specialist. So since Monday, my dad has actually been with me every day and definitely was with me that Monday morning and throughout the whole of the week, to the right hand side of me dancing a jig. If you don't know what a jig is, it's a dance, kind of Irish dance, but a really silly Irish dance. And my dad was always kind of making jokes, making light of everything, and not really ever being particularly serious. And yet, we didn't see a lot of each other. So it wasn't one of those relationships where I'll miss the presence of somebody, but I feel that I've spent more time with him in the last week than I have done in the last several years, which is really interesting. I'm not ill, by the way. It's just probably about me expressing things. So what I wanted to share with you today is that some people believe that there's lots of beliefs around what happens when you pass over. And I've spoken to many spirits you can possibly imagine because of what I do. And quite often they'll pop in on a therapy session as well, whether I'm doing trauma or whatever I'm working with, helping people align to their mission. Loved ones will pop in and they will say hi. Now, some people believe that they are right by our side all of the time. And I think that is definitely true. They can be. When we're in deep grief, it's really hard for spirit to come and blend with our energy. So if you've recently lost someone or they've passed over, let's call it that, you've never lost them really, but in the physical, yes. If you've recently had someone pass over and you haven't heard from them, or they haven't come through a medium or whatever, then usually it's because you're not ready to hear that information, or you're in a state of grief. And actually, if you are in a state of grief, I have a grief chamber over on my website, susankennard.co.uk, and you might want to place yourself in that chamber for a month or so, just to heal underlying reasons of why you're feeling grief, as well as what's happening to you now. So if you think about that, you think about we have this soul having a human experience, and that human experience essentially is a choice that we made to carry our soul in a physical vehicle. And so when you think about your whole experience, your whole life experience, really it's part of a soul plan. And that soul plan is something that you will have decided many times before. And this time, definitely at this time of ascension, big time awakening, understanding we can heal ourselves, all of that stuff, remembering who we are is the key thing. With this understanding, then we understand, I keep repeating myself, but we understand that everything always happens as it should. And that's really hard when you lose someone, because obviously you think, well, they've gone too early, they've gone too soon, they've left this earth in a shocking way, let's say. But actually, on some level, there is a reason why that person left at that time. And our soul has many exit points. So we have many exit points where we've chosen to leave. You know, when I think about my life and what's happened in my life, I used to work in Edgware Road in London, where the 7/7 bombing happened. And at the time of 7/7 that day, I worked in child protection at the time, and I was supposed to be in at that tube station at that time in Edgware Road, literally then. But the night before, I was working with a teenage pregnancy case, and we had flexi hours then. And so I just didn't go in. I wasn't going to go in until later that day. And so I was protected because of that. So that could have been an exit point. Yeah, could have been on the tube at that time, but I wasn't. And another exit point that could have been was Martin, who took his life when he was 34. We actually spent quite a lot of time together traveling New Zealand and so on. One of the times was we hired a boat, we sailed around the Bay of Islands, and we got caught in a storm. And I remember white knuckles holding onto the boat. It was a trailer sailor, so it was really small. And, you know, to be honest, we were very looked after because we managed to get back in, and we were in a massive storm. You know, we probably wouldn't ordinarily have made it. The boat was bashed and the sail was ripped and so on. So we were really looked after. And then one more was a 9/11, when I'd travelled New Zealand again and gone out to meet his relatives, and travelled around a bit and come back through. I was supposed to be coming back, you know, on 9/11. So my ticket, I don't know if you remember those tickets, they were actual physical tickets, like with blind copies. My ticket said 9/11 on it. Yeah. But I chose to come back a week earlier. So instead of flying through the States on 9/11, I actually flew through the States a week earlier. And mainly because I'd run out of money, and I was traveling and I was young and, you know, spent a lot of money. So I decided to come home. So, you know, who knows what would have happened at 9/11? You know, I would have been fine, but I may have been stuck out in the States. Anyway, so we have these exit points. And I think for my dad, this was one of his exit points. It doesn't mean it was the only one. And maybe if circumstances had been different, you know, circumstances that are going on in the world, if things had been different, choices he'd have made, which would have been different, he may have been here longer. But, you know, we've just got to look at it as that was his time. And I think one of the important things is to know that we don't leave ever. You know, we leave our physicality, we leave this vehicle, this jacket that we have, but we don't leave ever. You know, our soul goes on, and it is everlasting, evergreen, our soul. And so we just learn from a different perspective then. So my dad's popped in several times, spoken to me, wants me to talk about, you know, what happens when we pass over. And one of the things he said, because he was in hospital for just a few days, he said that he kind of wished he'd gone earlier. So he hung on for a few days, and he kind of wished he'd gone earlier, because when he actually passed over, he was a bit scared to pass over. But once he did pass over, he said the incredible feeling of freedom. And of course, his body was in a really difficult place then. The incredible feeling of freedom and just elation, he said, was just so incredible. And of course, he met my nan, his mom, and everyone else. And, you know, there was a coming home ceremony, you know, it was like coming home to a party. And so, you know, he's very much with me every single day. and I think it's going to really help. And I think what you might find is if you've lost somebody, that they probably will help you more from the other side of life than perhaps they ever could from the human perspective. Because yeah, I will say that my guides are coming in here. So what my guides just want to say, or to remind me to say actually, is that when spirit comes through, and if they may say something like, um, you know, I felt sad, or I regret this, or I that, actually, it's not really them, but it's the impression of how they would have felt on the earth plane, if that makes sense. So as a soul, you don't really have those feelings of regret or sadness or anything, because your soul is just everlasting and completely whole and complete. It's our human aspect that is feeling these emotions, because that's why we have a human experience. It's emotions and experience, and co-creating the universe and creating fun things and abundance and freedom and excitement and relationships. That's what it's about. When we're a soul, we don't have emotions, so it's not like that when we come and communicate. However, what happens is that we're communicating from a place of emotionally how we felt when we passed. Okay, so there's just that tiny window where we feel, it's like a life review, and we feel those emotions. So don't ever think, if you ever see a medium and the medium says that your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, your wife, your friend is, sad and feels really, regretful and hates this person, and that is not true. It's not true. Okay. It's just that moment of shifting from human physicality to soul. Okay. So don't ever worry about that, and don't ever think that they are not coming from a place of pure love. Okay. I really want to say that to you. It's really important. So I'm just going to see if there's anybody on the live call. I appreciate this is much earlier than I normally would have come on, but I just really felt that it was important. So let me just see. There we go, live on here. Let me just turn the sound down. Okay, so I just want to, if you want to say hi or ask me anything, then I'm happy to answer it. Any questions? So let me think about other things that happen when you pass over. Yeah, okay. So one of the other things I think that's important to say is that there isn't really a period of time that a soul has to wait before they can communicate with you. Okay. So I've never found that. I've been a medium for a very long time, and people have come through to me when they're just at that point of transition. So they're not, they haven't gone yet, but they're kind of in that in and out period where they're going and coming back. And they've come through and spoken, and said, I'm going to pass on, at this time on that day, because they know that that's when they're going to pass, and they just come and just have a chat, just to say that, they know that they're going to be free. Some souls do that. Some, like my dad, actually, he was on morphine, he was on end of life drugs, and I think in a way that kind of keeps them here for a bit longer, because they're not actually particularly conscious. So it might be that he hung around for a bit longer because he couldn't actually communicate through the stroke and so on. And yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter really. He's perfectly free and without any issues of the human anymore. So what else do I want to say about that? Yeah. So if you feel like your grandfather or your mother or father or friend has come to you in the night, in your dreams, then they have come to you. They have come to you. They've come to speak to you. If you definitely have a dream about them, and I did the Sunday night of my dad passing, I had a really profound dream. And if that happens, then they're definitely communicating with you. Okay. So it's not that they're not, and it's not your imagination. They are definitely communicating with you. So I just wanted to say something about different types of communication. So different types of communication. So mediumship is where there's evidence of survival, where we are the medium for another to give a message to another. If that makes sense. You can be a psychic, which is not a medium. A medium is evidence of survival. Okay, so when I teach my mediumship class, it's evidence of survival and messages. So we don't do messages first, we always do evidence of survival. If we're doing tarot or psychic, that's very different. That is just really tuning into a different frequency. Trance mediumship is where the spirit comes through and actually speaks through you. Okay, so that's trance mediumship. So where they entrance you, I suppose we might say. What else? Oh, there's lots of things. Direct voice, all sorts of direct voice is where you hear a voice outside of you. Inner voice is where you're hearing your guides or you're hearing someone speaking to you, and that's within you. What else? I'm just thinking of other types. Obviously, we could go into guides and so on, but for today, for this, I just really wanted to talk about, what happens when you pass over. So my understanding is, I've spoken to many spirits that have passed over, and because I work with the Akashic Records, I see this a lot, is that when you pass over, you get met by, or you're taken over by loved ones, 100%. And you meet with animals. If you are very connected to animals, then you meet the souls of your animals as well. So not to worry about that. Your animals always get connected with you again, which I'm really happy to hear about. You have what's called a life review. And so there's no judgment ever with anyone or anything. It is just a review. And it's looking at, well, maybe, I could have done that slightly differently, but there's no judgment with it. It's not like you're going to judgment and God doesn't judge you and your guides don't judge you. It's all part of a soul's expansion. Okay, so there's no judgment with it, but you have a life review. And some people believe through that life review, you then make choices about if you want to come back again. Who knows? This is the time of ascension. So who knows whether actually we will come back again. Maybe we won't. Maybe the new earth will happen and we won't come back again. But, that's definitely a conversation to be had at some point. But so that's what happens. And then, you decide, your soul decides what it wants to do next. So many people like my dad have kind of connected with me and is helping me from that side of life, and you will find that a lot with your relatives, most definitely. But then at some point they choose to go and evolve in a different way. Okay, but we can call them back at any time to chat to them. So I'm just wondering if there's anyone that's got any questions. Hi Kim, hi, lovely to see you here. So from my father's passing on Monday, last Monday, so a week ago, it's been enlightening. It really has been enlightening. And I feel very honoured and blessed that I am a medium, because I am able to see spirit, hear spirit, and relay messages. And if you did want a reading at any point, you just choose the discovery session on my website, which is susankennard.co.uk. I just do 3 sessions, so there's a discovery session which you can choose if you want a mediumship reading. So I'm just thinking about hi Tracy, I'm just thinking about what I might like to do with you here. I'll just make one announcement. So at 1:30 today, so in an hour and a half's time, I'm holding an intuitive healing retreat where we're working with our money mindset, and then we're going to be put into a galactic healing chamber specifically for money, which will be really good fun. So we're going to attract more physical money into our experience, and that is so that we can have more freedom. So I have an abundance chamber, but this one is different. This is about physical money coming into your experience and clearing everything out of the way around your money mindset. Last week we did childhood beliefs, and this week we're really looking at our money mindsets. Okay, all right. Hi, Diane. Hi. Look forward to seeing you at 1:30. So if you want to be on that retreat, then it's susankennard.co.uk or co.uk if you're in the UK. And you just go over and you just book it. Just go to retreat number 2. So go to book a session with Susan, retreat number 2, and just follow the steps. Okay, you don't have a code. You just go on and you just pay. It's £33. And we go on for about an hour and a half. Okay, and it's on replay as well. So if you can't make it live, then definitely get the replay. Okay, so what should we do today? I think we're going to come into the heart. Let's do a beautiful meditation. And I'll just see where the guides take us, okay? So just come into your heart space. And just breathe normally. And just connect with a beautiful light within your heart. Good. And expand that light. And imagine expanding that light and it was becoming more sparkly. So every time you breathe and expand that light, it becomes more sparkly in your energy field. It's good. And your heart energy is opening up, sense of that. And then fill the whole of your body up with pure sparkling light. So every single cell of your body is opening up. And then expand that bubble of light out into the whole of your space. What the guides are showing me, almost like a capsule of light around you. And this is a protective, beautiful capsule of light. And then I want you to imagine your Earth star under your feet and your soul star above your head. And I want you just to feel that sense of peace as you sit in that bubble of light. And the guides are giving me this sense of a crystalline light. So you are a crystalline light field. So just connect with that beautiful crystalline light field around you. And just expand that light out. And then I'm seeing many angels coming in here. So beautiful angelic presence coming in here. And if you feel you would like to invite in any loved ones, perhaps you've lost a loved one, so just feel that sense of asking them. It's always about ask and given. So ask them to come in close to you. And if you haven't had a loved one pass, then just ask your angels to come in close to you. And you may have a message from your loved one now. So just listen. Just listen to a message. A beautiful message of love. And just notice today that you're feeling this sense of more peace and calm, and that perhaps your loved ones around you. And so you might want to ask them for a sign. You might want to ask them for a sign to give you comfort. You might want to ask them for, I don't know, maybe, you get drawn to look at their photograph or something, just a little sign to help you know that they're around you. And if you haven't had someone that has passed, ask your guides and angels to give you a sign that you're not on your own. Okay. So just know today that you're more grounded, you're more connected, that you are in your beautiful bubble of protection. And something that's just coming to me, would you be interested in me perhaps doing a live where I'll tell you the time I'm going to go live, and maybe we can do a live where I tune in to loved ones coming through to pass messages on. I don't normally do that, but I tend to just do it in private sessions. But the feeling I'm getting is that maybe a lot of people need some support at this time. And I'll tune in with my guides and bring loved ones in one at a time. So let me know if you feel that that's something that you would like. And if I get enough people saying they would like that, then I'll find a specific time and we'll book a specific time and I'll come on live and do some readings for you from your loved ones. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to have a look at any messages here. Oh, hi, Lee. Lovely to see you. So it's lovely to see. Oh, there's some messages. Okay. I'll answer your messages most definitely. But if you feel you would like me to do a whole YouTube live on mediumship and bringing people in, then I'll take you through the process that I use, which is to prepare a space, ground and connect, bring my gatekeeper in, ask for spirit one at a time. So it can be a bit like a little workshop of how to bring spirit in, and then I'll bring some messages through. So if that sounds like a really lovely idea, I'll plan to do that. I'll have a look at my diary and I'll plan to do that at the same time. Okay, so just looking. Oh, Diane, that's brilliant. So this is always on YouTube. So the question was, is it always on YouTube? Yes. Once you're on YouTube, it doesn't go anywhere. So I'll be sharing this across my social media as well. And feel free to share it. And if you haven't found me before and you're seeing this on the replay or you're here for the first time, make sure you I think it's called subscribe. my brain needs to go in human now. I'm not in my spirit part. So like and subscribe so that more people can get these messages and more people can get the help they need at this time. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll join us on the retreat at 1:30, where we're going to have fun looking at money mindset and truly stepping into this money galactic healing chamber. I can't wait. Okay.